Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me just, I guess, do an intro.
Okay. Hi.
No, let me.
Oh.
Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Ordinary Love, a podcast where I sit down with couples and talk about their relationship and everything that makes it special and unique.
Hi, I am the couple in this relationship.
Obviously, I only have one other guest with me today,
Yes.
and I've been really excited about this episode just for an excuse to bring my husband
Hi.
on the podcast and yeah, just talk about our relationship, which we love to do. Well, before we get into the episode, why don't you introduce yourself? You know, I'm trying to test run something, and maybe because when people ask, or when I ask people to introduce themselves, they don't really know what to say. So why don't you say your name, how old you are, and what you do?
I am Bradley. I am currently 31 years old, and I am the star in this beautiful marriage that we are in.
That's his main occupation.
I vibe at work. I vibe at Tesla.
I hate when he says this because no one understands. What does that mean?
I do vibration testing at work. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to really explain it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes into like a little.
Well, he works
within
at Tesla, and he's an engineering technician.
Yes.
And that's all you need to know. So I hope you know that I have no plan for this episode.
Oh, really? Truly? That's good, because like I only skimmed through the glossary, the questionnaires, like just one time, just that one
like
time.
months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at it since then. So
Okay.
usually what we start with in these episodes is talking about our story. Just to preface, we've been together for... Okay, actually, this is a very special weekend because we are celebrating... okay, hold on, I'm getting...
Redo.
But it is a special weekend because we just celebrated our 4-year dating anniversary, which what I was going to say earlier before my brain went too fast is that we don't know if dating anniversary is like something that
We will want to celebrate moving forward now that we are married.
yeah
Yes.
but I mean, so we've been married for 1 year.
Yes.
We got married August of last year,
Yes.
and it feels like still early enough in our marriage that not celebrating our dating anniversary feels like a disservice. You know, we've been together 4 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I feel like we should maybe not celebrate it.
I was like, where is he going? Why? Okay, why?
Okay. So I know we talked about this when we did, like, right after the whole proposal, where we have like a lot of months, consecutive months, where we're celebrating our relationship. And yes, it's a lot. Yes, it's amazing to have those kind of moments where we are.
But it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. You know,
it's a lot, especially it's a lot.
It's currently 2025, and you know, inflations are pretty high right now. Yeah, you're financially well off right now.
Okay.
I'm financially struggling.
Okay, so what he's trying to say, what he's attempting very hard to say, is that it is becoming a significant financial expense to keep celebrating. Because, okay, so background too is that our wedding anniversary...
It starts off with your birthday. It starts off in July.
Okay, I guess, yeah. So my birthday is in July, and then our wedding anniversary is August, and then our proposal, which I don't even know if people celebrate this, but he proposed to me in September. And then our dating anniversary is October, and then his birthday is November, and then December is Christmas. So if we were to celebrate everything, that's the entire second half of the year. Why? How did we get here?
I don't know.
know.
So yes, we've been celebrating for 4. We
yes,
just celebrated our
yes.
4 years together.
And so what did we do? What did we do today for our 4-year? Well, okay, so our 4-year anniversary was on Thursday, but we celebrated today.
Yes.
And what did we do?
We get a massage, and we
We just went to the spa.
Yeah, we just went to the spa, did a little hot tub, little sauna, to getting a massage, to like pretty much just start our day today. But on our actual day, we celebrated watching.
Oh my God. I think you were gonna say. Okay, so on our actual anniversary, it was a Thursday. And so I worked and you worked too.
Yeah.
But like we worked pretty late until like 6, 7. And then after Oh wait, actually, I didn't even work. I was sick.
Yeah, you're sick. Yeah.
God, this
I'm
conversation
so sorry,
is
by
all
the
over the
way.
place. Yeah. Okay, so he got me sick.
I got her sick.
So I was actually sick on Thursday, but we had these tickets and I've been looking forward to it for so long. And so after he got home from work, we went to go see one of the BTS movies because it's BTS week. And which one did we see?
We seen a BTS movie.
It was the 2021 Festa Muster.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew the year. I just didn't know what the
It
actual.
was was wild.
It was nice to see because it was during high time COVID, so it was like
It was a virtual.
yeah, it's a virtual concert where we just see a bunch of screens and people just cheering and them just talking to them. So it really brought back to like the whole time where
Everyone was on Zoom.
Yeah, everyone's on Zoom.
So anyways, why don't we start from the beginning? Because the story that we have is like, on paper, it's kind of like basic, but it's actually kind of cute. And there's so many things that like, it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we are sitting here married today is like kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that just like shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I think the cute thing about our whole entire relationship is realizing how compatible we were in a time where we wasn't even looking for a relationship.
So what happened is that we were both on the apps. This was like 2021, like summer of 2021, right? So like things were just starting to open up again. We had, you know, like the entire year and a half of COVID behind our backs and just like desperate to like meet people and stuff.
Socialize, yes.
But I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship back in 2020 and I had moved back here to my hometown to live with my sibling who I interviewed a couple episodes ago. I was on the apps because, you know, I was kind of out of the dating scene for a while. And I wasn't really looking to like, you know, be in a relationship. I just wanted to meet people and I just wanted to kind of, you know, see what's out there. I hadn't really ever used the apps before because my long-term relationship before was like when we got together, it was before the dating apps, right? Which is, I think, the same for you.
Yeah, definitely the same for me.
So anyways, that was my intention. And so what was your intention being on the dating apps?
No, very similar to yours. I just got off a very long-term relationship in 2019. By the time I got out of the relationship, like 3 months has passed by and we just got hit with COVID and everything shutting down. So did like a whole like year and a half in this self-reflection and whatnot. So yeah, like you said, like towards the end of 2021 when places started opening up, you know, society started booming up again. So I thought like I'll take the opportunity to, you know, just make new friends, find possibly maybe a relationship at some point, and just kind of build a community for myself, because by that time like, I was still trying to figure out who I am outside of this relationship that I just left.
That is such a good point. I'm glad that you bring that up because I think that's something that we both were experiencing.
Oh yeah.
How long was your last relationship?
Damn, I forget already. 7 years?
Me too.
Was yours 7? Or like I think it was like 7 dating, 8 knowing. I don't know. I'm gonna say 7 years.
Yeah, mine was almost 8, I think, but it was like around 7.
Yeah, it's very long. Where basically like your whole life is that relationship.
Your whole life.
Yeah, because your whole like, young adult life.
Yeah,
dude.
like
yeah.
Before the relationship, we were children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like as adults, we were forming adult habits or characteristics with identities with our ex at the time, and now that like, you know, we're venturing on to a new chapter, and it just seems like a new chapter of adulthood that you are fully unaware of and having to explore it by yourself now, like, you know, someone you have a companion with.
The big question that was on my mind was really just like, who the hell am I if not like one half of this relationship?
Yeah.
That's what's nice about how we met, because it was, you know, like a year or so of just like figuring that out and like doing a lot of healing with Belle, because I was living with my sibling at the time.
Shout out to Christian, because I was living with you, man.
Yeah, so it's funny, we both had that, huh?
Yeah,
we both had like that kind of
family support.
Yeah, family support where we can like, you know, feel safe and stable while figuring out who the hell we are.
Yeah.
Outside of our long-term relationship.
Dude, yeah, no, major shout out to Christian for giving me a space, a home, a place to like have me feel my emotions.
He's tearing up right now.
I am not, dude. She was like, dude, zoom in on that 4K, bruh. These eyes ain't crying. Much love to Christian, man. Like I was able to have a space to grow, and then he helped cultivate it, like such a warm environment for me to be in.
And then I came over and took
Yeah.
him away. Sorry,
Dude.
Christian. I think about you every day.
Me too.
I'm taking that out because I fucking hate when you make jokes like that. So we were both on the apps. This was maybe like the end of summer of 2021.
Dude, just stop saying apps, man. Your listeners are gonna be like, "What app, dude?" We were just on Tinder.
Oh
man.
my God. Shout out to Tinder.
Shout out to the fiery love that Tinder had provided.
Tinder,
man.
please sponsor me.
Dude, I wouldn't 100% not recommend anybody doing that for like dating. We honestly were just the lucky ones out of it.
I don't know.
Like-
I've heard a lot of success stories from Tinder.
I haven't. And okay, besides our own,
I did not have any success on Hinge. I didn't use Bumble.
I have a feeling that I seen you on Hinge and we definitely did a match. So you definitely.
What do you mean?
You definitely.
I saw you on Hinge after we matched on Tinder, I think.
I forgot the timeline.
No, we
for it,
definitely
honestly.
matched on both. Because I remember seeing your
Definitely-
Hinge.
I remember seeing your Hinge. Okay. Okay, at this point, I think our timeline gets mixed up. We might have shown each other our Hinge.
Oh.
So that must have been it.
Yeah, because I don't know if I remember seeing you on Hinge. Something that I realized when I was on the apps in general was that two things. If you were going to open up with a pickup line, some people are into that. Some people are very into that, and that is okay. Not me. It makes me literally cringe like automatically, and this might be a hot take, but that's just how I feel. And if you just say hey,
Damn.
like with no effort at all into like starting a conversation, because like I as he found out, I am really good at keeping a conversation. You just have to help me a little bit, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
So those were like my two rules, right? But at the time, this was like September, I think. Like Hot Girl Summer was coming to a close. Cozy Girl Fall was starting. I think I just wanted like, one last hurrah. Does that make myself?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Okay.
No. Okay.
I'm just gonna be real. I wanted one last hurrah before Cozy Girl Autumn, and I matched with this cutie little
Hey.
thing right here.
Hey.
And that's exactly what he said to me
Hey.
with a smiley face.
It-
Do you remember your first impressions of my profile?
I do actually. Very outdoorsy, and you're very cute. I initially forgot what your first picture was, but I do remember like you had some pictures where you were hiking in the snow and doing some yoga poses. Oh, and you had a picture of you in the pier and whatnot. So to me, my first impression of you looking at these pictures and whatever the fuck did you put on your caption?
I don't even remember.
I knew.
Oh, I put that I like anime.
Yeah, you did. You did. I don't even know what the fuck. Oh, I
No,
know
because
that.
we talked about anime
Yeah, we talked
in our
about
in
a
our
lot.
conversation
Yeah,
before we went.
A lot, actually, a lot.
Yeah.
So initially, from what I could see, like someone who really smiles from cheek to cheek, especially just off like just you smiling in your pictures. You look, you're not trying to look cool.
I'm trying to remember what what I remember from your profile. I just remembered that you said you were from Hawaii.
Oh, dude, no, my caption was like hella stupid, dude. Because like honestly, I was lazy. I didn't want to like my whole.
Wait, do you remember what yours
I-
said? What was it?
Basically, just swipe right and message me if you want to find out more about me. Dude.
Wow. Apparently
Yeah.
it worked.
Oh man, dude, I had like.
But I literally hate that. I really don't remember what.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe just because you were so cute.
I think by then I was like trying to be cute. In the beginning, I was like being very experimental.
But okay, so he reached out to me saying hey with a
Hey.
smiley face, and against all odds, I responded. Surprisingly, yeah.
I was.
Because I truly like I wouldn't have if it was like a month before or something. But we ended up talking, and he told me about how he's from Hawaii, and at the time I like really wanted to move there. The reason I didn't is because of him, ironically. But I was really trying to move to Hawaii. So I was asking him like, what was it like growing up there? I think I told you really early on that I was a therapist because I was like talking about like, oh, I'm, tired from work or something. I don't know. And then we talked about a lot anime. I don't know why I said it like that. We talked about anime a lot. Yeah.
We definitely did. It was nice getting to know the kind of animes that you watch. Actually,
he was impressed by my taste in anime.
Yeah, dude. Like, you got me. Like, okay. Sorry, getting kind of nostalgic right now. We talked a lot about animes, a lot of like introductory of our life and like where we're from, and like trying to figure out our hobbies so we can start planning things together.
Yeah, I think I was surprised at how easy it was to talk to you, because like we would like talk about like 5 different things
in the same conversation.
Oh my God, and then we would have like bullets, almost like bullets, like kind of answering every single. You were so attentive.
Dude, no, 100%,
like you responded to everything that I like. If even if it was like something small,
no,
like
definitely.
You would respond to every single thing.
For some reason, when I was just texting you, you brought like a very like quirky kind of like happy tone to what I can like imagine what your voice was in these texts.
Yeah, honestly, we do kind of text the same way that we talk.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I remember texting you at work, and like at the time I was working in the factory and at Tesla. I will only have like 10-minute breaks in between. In the middle of work, I'll read her text, and it's a lengthy text that we always send each other. So like at those moments, I'll like keep in mind like what I want on text real quick. In those 10 minutes, I'll just like send like a whole paragraph, and like I'll spend my breaks all the time replying back to everything that you have to say, because I was super interested in like just getting to know you. I have never felt very interested in trying to figure out somebody else so quick. And like it's weird.
It was quick.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was
like,
new and strange.
It
It was like
new.
not exactly what we were
like
trying to get out of this. And it was just so easy.
Yeah.
It was so easy to talk to you.
Yeah, it was super easy.
So that was like, I think around 1 week that, we were talking, and then we're like, okay, like let's just go on a date. And so we planned for a Thursday.
Yes.
Because why?
Okay. I personally like going out on a Thursday night. So
really?
I
like you wanted to make it happen on a Thursday. Why?
Huh?
Why?
Oh, just so
I suffered from it.
You did. I like to do it on Thursday. So if it works out good, then I'll hey, if you're free this weekend, maybe we can also hang out,
I did not know
and
this.
Like,
is that what happened? No. Sorry.
No, it
no,
didn't
because
happen.
okay.
Yeah, you ruined my fucking plan.
No, if we had gone according to plan.
I know.
So we were supposed to meet on a Thursday, and I was so excited. I was getting ready for it. And then I think like the day before or something, he canceled on me, or he rescheduled. He rescheduled on me.
It was the day of.
It was the day of.
Yeah.
And he texted me. And he was like, "Hey, like I'm so sorry. Like, can we
reschedule?
Postpone this for next week because of something with work."
And I thought at that point, dude, like, okay, in the culture and the fashion of like Tinder dating, we have to like get the women's attention real quick. Women are in like this big pool of like see a man who flocking towards them.
Right, you have like one chance. So basically, he had something come up with work, and it was like unavoidable. Like it was. The excuse that you give when you don't want to go on a date, but it was actually legit. I was kind of bummed about it, but like I wasn't like torn up about it, like it was just like it's fine. Like we'll do it next week, which is also something that I wouldn't have done. Like if someone cancels on me, like I just take that as like, oh, they don't actually want it. But like there was something about you that like felt really genuine. Like I knew that you weren't trying to like get out of anything. I knew it must have been genuinely.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's fine.
I honestly felt like we weren't ever going to see each other at that point, because, like, I know that, like...
He'd already resorted to the facts.
like, I thought, like, okay, like, I know when you first cancel on somebody, like, it will be, like, the same like you had, and that's totally valid. Especially when you haven't met someone already. Like, like, why would I want to make effort to see somebody that already canceled me once, Right. Like, is this going to be a habit, or is this something, like, I have to get used to, just, getting to know this person? At that time, we were, like, doing this rotation of, like, every day, a group of like 3 people will stay after work and do like an extra like 3 hours extra worth of work because of like low manpowers. I haven't been picked ever until that Thursday, and it had to be that Thursday.
Oh, you had never been picked before that Thursday.
And I was like, what are the chances of it,
Oh God.
And like so like that whole morning I was like trying to tell my boss like, hey, like I have something planned, and same excuse like any boss gotta give. Like, hey, so does everybody else. What are you entitled for?
God.
Which,
I'm so happy he doesn't work there
corporate
anymore.
work. But anyways, yes, didn't happen.
Yeah, obviously.
But for some reason, we were still able to text
Somehow,
each other.
yeah, we texted for the rest of the week, and then
And
the next Thursday came.
And I went and picked you up. What are you called? So next week Thursday comes around, and I am on my way to pick up Karina for the first time. Super nervous as always. So like, to calm my nerves, I like to talk about like my nerves to people, and my voice of comfort, or who I always want to talk to at that time, was Derek. So I'm talking to Derek. I'm like, hey Derek, I think I'm gonna stop dating and focus a bit more on myself as the holidays come. The winter season's here, and be more of like ending the year on like a lot of more like self-reflecting, a lot more like, hey, what can I grow on for the next year, or like what can I focus on? And Derek was like, that's all good, man. That's super cool. What are you doing right now? And like, I told Derek, I'm heading to my last date, I swear. By the time that conversation ended, I was parked right in front of your apartment. I text you and waited for you. I remember just me being on my phone, just leaning against my car, just waiting for you. You popped up, kind of like stick your face in front of my face. Yeah, and like with the biggest smile in the world. And I'm like, hey, are you Bradley? And I'm like, yeah. And super nervous at the time. And what I like to do when I get nervous, I like to like poke a little bit fun. So like, I didn't even like open the door for you. You just assume like the car was next to was mine. So I remember you.
Oh my God, I forgot about this.
So like, I was like, okay, let's head on going. Like, so you open the door, and I was like, and then you're like, what? I'm like, oh, that's not my car. And then
I remember this, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I had a face like,
yeah.
like, because why wouldn't I not assume that was his car? He was
Yeah.
literally leaning on it. But
Missing
it was your car.
It was my car.
Yeah.
It was my car.
Yeah.
I took Karina out to a vegetarian restaurant. And it's my first time ever choosing or going to a vegetarian restaurant. And till this day, that was like the most porous selection of restaurant that I could have chosen, of a pool of amazing vegetarian restaurant that we have in our area.
Honestly, like,
Never again.
you wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known.
Dude, I offered, I don't know if you remembered, I offered a Korean barbecue place for our first date, dude. And you specifically like replied back like, did you not read my bio? And I was like, I didn't reply back after that. I went straight back to your bio. And I'm like, I was about to double down with you. I'm like, what the fuck you mean read your bio? I looked at it like, oh, vegetarian.
Yeah, I am a vegetarian.
Yeah. And
I mean, it was a really nice.
Yeah.
It was a really nice gesture.
It was thoughtful.
Yeah, and like the food, it was fine. I think I
You had
tried.
spaghetti, right?
No, you did.
I got spaghetti.
Yeah. Okay, so I
Oh,
got
I
like curry or something, like yellow curry. It's like this like
Yeah.
Asian fusion restaurant. But yeah, so it was nice. Like the vibe was nice. It was like this like outdoor little patio area.
Yeah. I mean, like all restaurants were outdoors at that time.
But like, okay, so something that I didn't know at the time is that you eat insanely slowly. And not because he's like a slow eater, but because everything else just distracts him from eating so much more. And this was like our first date.
Dude,
This was our first date.
wait for my friends to hear you say this, because they all could relate to you so much.
At the time, I was like eating, right? And I was noticing that he wasn't eating, and I was like, I didn't know what to think about it. But then
Yeah, no,
I
valid.
didn't know you
Yeah,
yet.
you didn't know like
But
you didn't know
you
me.
not eating anything was actually very important to the rest of the date. So
oh god, dude.
So
Yeah. No,
he-
100%. Because like, dude, I just got off of work, dude. The last time I ate was during my lunchtime, and that was like
9.
Yeah, so like at the factory, lunchtime was at 9:30, dude. I didn't.
This
eat
was
anything.
was like 8 p.m.
It's like 7.
7 or 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So you had not eaten, and I was like, okay, I guess I won't eat all of
Yeah.
mine. But it was good. Like, other than that, like, the conversation was good. We talked about van life, which, I hope that when we listen back to this, we'll be on our van life journey eventually. That's one of our goals.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
That was surprising, actually, that you were into van life, because that's not.
Dude, I lit up like a fucking like firework, man, when you just mentioned van life, because I thought like that would be like the most amazing thing to do when I find a partner that like I that I want to settle down with.
I was like so surprised. I was like,
Yeah.
no way, because like
Dude.
that's not, if you want to do van life and you're in a relationship and the other person doesn't want to do it, like
It's not
that's
happening.
not
dude.
happening.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
Either you're not going to be
Dude,
with that person
I
or you're
remem-
not going to do it at all.
I remember my heart just skipped a beat. Okay. There's a lot of moments throughout that date where I felt where like this is like a
you're
good
checking-
recipe for like a good relationship.
Like
coming
things
up,
are
you
things
know?
are kind of lining up.
Yeah, and I was super in denial. You were too.
Yeah.
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 We were in denial.
Yeah.
Let's keep back in mind of like the nature of ourselves
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time.
We
Like,
were just trying to have fun.
yeah, we
weren't
were
looking
just-
for a
Yeah, we
relationship.
weren't looking for a relationship.
So so the restaurant is kind of like downtown San Jose area, right? So we
Yes.
were pretty close to like where, the like, where people go out in downtown San Jose.
Yeah.
So we went to a bar,
Yes.
and like the bar was also kind of a restaurant. Like they had like tables, but then there was also like a little seating lounge area where
Yes.
we were going because we just wanted to get drinks. We're in the corner. It was really cute, really romantic. We were in the corner, like we were just drinking beers.
Oh my god, the ambiance of that whole
Yeah, it was
fucking
really
bar
nice,
was like
yeah.
amazing, dude. Like low lighting,
Yeah, low
very
lighting,
like
very lively. So it was like
Yeah, very-
white noise and like,
yeah.
and then so we had like
Ooh, we had
2 beers.
so
We were
we-
both drinking hazy
Oh
IPAs.
no, I think we had 3.
Yeah, but
we were.
during these beers, I was like, trying to send him signs.
I was
like, he was so nervous. I was
I'm
trying to like,
oblivious. To
I was like,
it
I
all.
would touch him here and there, and like,
Oh my god, yeah, dude, exactly. Like, oh my god.
yeah, I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I was getting super excited of the conversation that we were having, and I was getting kind of touchy because I'm getting a lot of drinks in me, and I was like, oh my god, dude, like you
he was touching me
too.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
then-
god, I touched your face.
And then he like grabbed my how.
Like, I grabbed your face like this,
And I thought he was gonna kiss me, but then he didn't.
and I was like very late into the night already, and like in my head, I was gonna drop you off home around like 10 p.m. because like I have work at fucking 5 in the morning. Dude, we were out.
I
till,
know
like,
well,
yeah, we were there till closing.
yeah.
Yeah, our bar.
Basically, yeah, we were there till closing because
Yeah, our
the bartender.
took a shot with us. The
Yeah,
night.
he definitely knew that we were on like a first date or something.
Yeah,
Because then
we
he brought over a tequila shot.
Yeah, damn that and
And so imagine
that ruined the
this
night.
guy has not eaten in like
You
almost
too.
12. I ate more than you.
Yeah, you did.
And I definitely ate like
I had a whole
before.
ass meal the next day, dude. That we took over.
But he had not eaten for 12 hours. He had 3, not just any beers, but IPAs.
Yeah.
And then the bartender comes over and gives us a tequila shot,
Hell
which
yeah.
is so funny because that ended up becoming our drink.
Yeah.
Like a hazy IPA and a shot of tequila.
That became like to this day too. I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're a
Whenever
bit
we
on
want to
the-
like,
Yeah.
have like a kind of night out, that's how we start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He gave us a tequila shot. We took the shot and then we left, and he still hadn't kissed me yet. And so I was like, I was getting impatient. I'm like, at the time I was like, I'm pretty forward as a person, but at the time I was like, dude, like this date is going on so well.
Dude.
Like we're,
And I was being super respectful to you right now. Like, yeah, dude. Like at this point, I did not want to treat you like any other like woman and everything. I'm like, dude, this is such a respectable woman right now. Like, I truly want to hang out with you. Like, I was having so much fun just having conversation with you, or like just figuring out like things that we can do together. And that got me super juiced just to know that like, hey, maybe I can hang out with her another day. And yeah.
And then what happened?
And we were
left.
Yeah, we left. We were walking out, going back to the car, and Karina was bold as ever. Kind of like pushed me to the side of the wall.
Did not
and
do that.
Looked straight to me in the eye and like, "Hey, man.
Hey, man.
You didn't kiss me."
Well, basically, I just like we were walking out. He was walking behind me, and like I turned around. Like once we got to the street, I turned around and I just grabbed him and I just kissed him.
Yeah, and then it was
Yeah.
magic.
It was magic,
I was super drunk at this point, and like.
But yeah, we were like not sober by now. So yeah, it was great. And I was like, wow. Okay, the unfortunate thing, and this is why you don't have a date on a Thursday, but the unfortunate thing is that he had work the next day at like 5 a.m. I had work the next day at like 8:30 or so. So we had to call it quits like before the night even, like there was so much potential in that night that we just like couldn't pursue. So we got our Ubers back and I got home.
Yeah.
And then I ate the rest of my food
Oh my
because
God,
I was
dude.
so
Like-
hungry.
You went home and eat. I went home like feeling like I was on cloud 9 of just pure happiness. I'm like, because like I gone to like a lot of bad dates through Tinder, and I thought like ain't no way the dating pool in like in this area is this bad. No offense, Bay Area. But like, anyways, I was home. I went straight to my room, text you like that I just got home. Like, because that's the normal thing to do. I was literally like this in my bed, waving my toes, texting Karina like, I just got home, and oh my God, where have you been my whole life?
I said that.
I said that too.
I said it first.
You did say it first.
He's lying. So he was, like twirling his feet.
Yeah.
And then I texted him, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, where have you been my whole life? And that got him all curly.
Yeah, hella curly. You end up going to work.
And then, okay, the next day, I was so insanely hungover, and I still went to work, and it was awful. But thankfully, I got off work at the time, I got off work at 4:30 or so. So I just went home and slept. But he called in sick, and I was like, bro. Okay. This is why I say that I suffered, because I had to go to work hungover. I don't do this anymore, by the way.
We don't even drink that much anymore.
Yeah, we don't even drink that much anymore.
Yeah, so like I'm like, that morning I'm telling her like I actually called in sick. Hey, but do you want to like maybe hang out like over the weekend and everything? And I got rejected. You had plans for that whole weekend to go out to like an event, and I was bummed out because like kind of ruined my plans, from Thursday dating.
Yeah. Well, if I had known your plan, I would have.
I know. You should have.
But yeah, I had a festival to go to that weekend, so we couldn't hang out. And I don't think the next time we hung out was
that Tuesday.
Oh yeah, because I really wanted to see him again after. Yeah. And what did we do?
We decided to go roller skating.
Oh yeah, completely sober.
Completely sober because we wanted to reintroduce ourselves,
get to know each other
more in a sober aspect. And I thought that was one of the most healthiest way to reconnect after having.
Is that roller rink still? Or did it close?
I think it closed down just recently, actually.
R.I.P. Yeah. That was a really good day. We went roller skating, and then we
found out more about each other.
We spent a lot of time just sitting in the car afterwards, just sharing music.
From then on, we've been kind of a bit inseparable.
Yeah, we went mini golfing.
Yeah,
we went to more restaurants.
We went hiking a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We went on this hike in Santa Cruz at the Garden of Eden. Shout out to those who know where that is. It's kind of like a little creek river thing, but there's a little swimming hole. And so he prepared a lot of food for a picnic, and I brought paints because I like to paint. So we had a picnic and we painted, and it was lovely.
It was amazing. We brought wine. I made sushi, and at this
vegetarian
point,
vegetarian.
Yeah, at this point, I am a bit more well informed of how food is prepared for being a vegetarian. So I remember just getting up early, and my family was visiting our place, and I remember just making sushi, and stuffed mushrooms as well to prepare for the date. So I brought that over. You brought the whole painting supplies. I remember we decided to trek to the middle of that swimming hole because there was a small island. So we were carrying all our stuff in our backpack while going.
I had a whole backpack and canvases.
Yeah, and walking through the water and just deciding to paint and have a bit of a picnic there.
I almost fell and floated down the river. I tripped and fell while we were crossing the river trying to get to the.
Wait, I know, because when we were done painting, we had to carry.
Yeah, because our canvases were.
Yeah. But oh my God, yeah. But from that point on, we were seeing each other every weekend.
Honestly, we keep saying that we were there to hanging out so much, but that was only a few weeks.
Yeah.
Before
we started
before we started dating.
Yeah.
It's funny because we went there today. We went to the spa today, but he took me to this spa in Palo Alto. That has hot tubs and massages and cold plunges and stuff like that. But he just rented out a room that had a hot tub for an hour. Hot tub, was it just hot tub? Hot tub and sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold plunge. No, it didn't have a cold plunge this time. I think this was the day that we were basically gonna call it official with each other.
Well, no, we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
It was just another date, honestly.
Yeah.
It was just another date, but what made this date special was that while we were in this romantic spa, I told him that I loved him, And it was like really hard for me to say actually because I
Yeah.
was like fucking terrified.
And it's funny because with the whole dating thing, I think we were like very in denial, like trying to
Yeah.
fall with each other, like
Mhm.
super fast. We had
It was really fast.
yeah, it was really fast, and we had our walls, we had our reasons to like
Yeah.
not like I'm not trying to be in a relationship right now. Like it was a lot of accepting of wanting to fall down,
Take that risk.
take that risk and
Yeah.
fall.
But I think something that like I came to realize really quickly is that there's always a risk, right? There's always a risk of getting hurt. And I think this is like, what
Worth it.
makes it's what makes dating nowadays so hard is because everyone's so scared to get hurt. And I think we definitely felt that too. But I am a pretty unsure person. Like I have to get second opinions on a lot of things. But like with you, I was never it truly felt like the risk is worth it. So like if I were to get hurt from this, I knew that you were just a good person. By this time I knew
Thank
that you
you.
were a good person and I knew that you wouldn't like hurt me. If it ended up not working out, I couldn't see it being because you were a bad person or that you would like
Yeah.
intentionally try to hurt me. Like I felt very safe with you. Me telling you that I loved you like literally 2 or 3 weeks after we met. I think it was scary because I was so sure about it and it was so fast. Like I was scared because I was like, is this even real? Is it even possible to fall in love with someone this quickly?
Yeah,
But it felt
100%
so
agree. So natural,
so
man.
natural.
Yeah, it just felt super natural. It felt like normally you don't get that kind of like experience where you're like, wow, this is literally everything checks out of my box, man. Like this is truly someone I can stand by proudly side by side. This is someone I would love to just hang out with. This is someone that I know my parents would be proud of to have. It just felt like what could go wrong.
Like what could actually go wrong?
Yeah, like the risk was worth it, knowing that like how could it fail?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it was funny actually
Yeah.
because like so one of the first times that we hung out with each other, I had asked him. I was like, "Hey, are you seeing anyone else?" And he was like, "No."
I was like,
And I was
"Nah,
like,
bruh,
and I was like,
only you, girl."
and I was like, "Well, I am."
I was like, "Oh, good, okay, yeah."
He's like, "Oh yeah, I am too."
And then like I think that was like the first time I ever lied to her.
I think I was like, I was like casually seeing like a few other people.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I'm like, I don't actually think I want to see anyone else. I think I just want to see you.
Oh God, dude.
And
Like,
he was like, what? Do you remember your reaction to that?
I at that moment I knew like there's truly nothing to hide from you.
Yeah.
Like I hid the fact that I was talking to other women, but you didn't. And like just me knowing how open you were, like that really set the stage and tone like how I would want this relationship to be, or like
Around honesty.
yeah, around honesty.
Mhm.
And it really became that way.
Yeah.
Like I would tell you things.
Now you're like too honest.
Yeah, I'm way too honest. Like I would tell her things I know she's gonna get mad. I'm like, hey love, I bought this.
That's it. That's all. That's
Hey,
all.
love,
That's
look at
gonna
this.
be
I know you don't like it when I do this, but here I'm doing this.
that was something that was surprising to me because I was like, I don't want to see anyone else. I remember you mentioned that you were going to delete the apps, like after our first date or something, you were to delete the apps. And like, that didn't scare me. I was like, this whole thing was just surprising to me. And I think that's what made it scary. It was because it was surprising, but like, I also felt very solid. And so when I said that I didn't want to date anyone else, I didn't expect you to stop dating other people. I was just telling you, I was like, I don't want to date anyone else. Like, but like,
Yeah.
you don't have to. You don't have to also stop dating other people.
No, 100%. I mean, like just because you did it doesn't mean I have to do the same thing. But like when you were openly enough to like mention all that, I thought it was very brave of you to want to make that statement. This girl right here, like I love hanging out with, is willing to like be a bit more exclusive with me, and of course I'm gonna respect you the same way and want to do the same way too.
Mhm.
So I followed your steps.
So yeah, like I had told him that I loved him, and then it was like you were waiting for me to say it. Like it was so nice. He like, you felt it.
Yeah, I
You
mean
felt
like
it. We felt it.
yeah,
We felt it.
I definitely wasn't like planning on like doing anything like first steps or whatnot
Yeah.
because I was super scared of like rejection. Not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
because like I can just feel myself just like slowly like giving myself up to you, and I think at that time I was kind of just scared of my own like
It took me like a good like 5 or more minutes just to like, because I was just standing there or sitting there because we were in the hot tub. I was like sitting there and I was just like, I have to tell you something. And then like silence. And
Yeah.
you were so patient and
Dude.
waiting for me.
Dude, you remember I was gonna say I love you at that Irish pub.
Oh my God, you're right. And I was like,
Don't-
okay.
you stopped me like, don't say it.
I know. I'm like, don't say it.
okay.
What did you say?
I also said, hey, there's something I want to tell you.
And I was like, no, not yet.
And you're like-
that's why you let me, because I actually didn't let you. Like,
Yeah, you're like, stop it.
okay, this was like a week though. This was like a week after.
know,
Yeah, I feel like I was like still trying to come to terms with
But-
my feelings. Anyways, so after the hot tub spa, I went over to your place and we watched Squid Game, right?
Oh my God. It just came out. We were preparing dinner. So
Yeah,
we
we
were making
made-
a vegetarian version of chicken katsu, which is
Tofu katsu
tofu katsu
and curry.
and curry.
It was so
Yeah,
good, which we
Japanese
still make to
curry.
this day.
Yeah.
So then that was the day that we decided to be our anniversary. And then the next day we went to that Van Gogh museum and Van Gogh like
Oh,
installation thing.
Oh
It
my
was a
God,
really
yeah.
special, a special day.
A lot of the moments of our early dating stages really like cultivated the kind of aspect our relationship was heading into. Like a lot of it were
Mhm.
like, being able to appreciate art. A lot of it
Yeah.
were like to appreciate
Nature and traveling. Traveling was huge for like the
Yeah.
first year. But yeah, travel ended up being like a pretty like huge thing. Like in the
Yeah.
first year that we were dating, we went to
We were doing a whole lot of traveling outside of the Bay Area.
Yeah,
So,
like
we did
Monterey.
Monterey, we did Big Sur, Pismo.
when did you ask me about Italy?
So it was Valentine's Day. So I decided to take you out to Napa Valley. So in California, that's the
Wine country?
wine country. The vineyards over there. And so we were driving up to Napa Valley, and at one point, I think I asked you the question, like, if there was a place that you would want to travel, where would you want to go? And you were like, Italy. And then we just looked at each other and like,
Like, you down?
you down?
Mind you, we had been together for
3 months.
No, October, November,
November.
December, January. 4 months.
4 months at this
4
point.
months. He had spent the holidays with so his family lives in Hawaii.
Why?
I was gonna say the
I
Philippines.
know.
His family lives in Hawaii, and so he ended up spending the holidays with me, and my family, which was pretty cool.
Shout out to the family.
It was kind of like a pipe dream. We were just like, like we've only been dating for like 4 months. Like we're not gonna go on this like international trip together, but like why not? Why not like entertain the like idea?
Dude, after the whole Valentine's, we kind of just sat down and like really digested, what can we do to make this happen on your birthday?
Yeah.
Knowing that your birthday is in a few months and we're planning this 2-week international trip. I remembered we just bought the tickets. We started planning this whole thing, and before we knew it, we were heading to Italy.
Yeah.
Kind of like flew by hella quick, to be
I
honest.
have no idea how that happened, but we
Yeah.
went to Italy for a week. We started in
No,
Milan
10
and then went all the way back
10
down to Rome.
days.
Yeah,
10
10 days or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Italy was huge because like we realized that we travel really, really well together. You could be compatible in everything else, but then you could just like
Yeah.
not travel well together.
Yeah, and oh my God, we make the most awesome team when it comes to traveling.
I think we also like fill in each other's gaps.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think something that we both have is that we're very spontaneous. Like we don't care too much about food. We just like walk down the street and try to find.
love that. So we have the same idea when it comes to like what kind of adventure we want to have.
Mhm,
So like just being
mhm.
able to be like, yeah, let's go eat around this area.
Yeah.
And
Which actually is kind of hard to do in Europe because like a lot of the places you need a reservation.
yeah.
But like if you need a reservation, you just go to a different place.
yeah,
And like some of the best food that we've had
was
were
just, like,
non-reservations.
with non-reservation, just like literally walking around the city.
Yeah, that was a really good trip.
That was really good.
Yeah, it was a really good
yeah,
trip.
so
And then
yeah,
what was
amazing.
we went to Greece after.
Yeah, I went to Greece for my birthday later on that year.
Yeah, we were celebrating your birthday there, and so we went to Greece. Like July was Italy, and we went to Greece in November, and I think somewhere in between we went to Mexico City, or was that after? It was in between.
That was after.
Well, we also went to Mexico City at some point.
So we basically traveled a lot, like at least
In like the first year of our relationship,
Yeah, I
we
actually feel
traveled
like
a lot.
almost like every year in relationship.
Yeah.
I think the only year that we didn't No, we travel for every year.
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't traveling to like a different country, it was traveling to Hawaii a
Yeah.
lot to meet your family and be with your family.
Like we went to Hawaii like 3 times this year.
Yeah, we went to Hawaii a lot.
But yeah, so our whole relationship is based on like being adventurous. We just want to be able to experience the world as we live through it. And
Yeah, if we're not like traveling like
yeah.
via airplane, we like to camp.
Yeah,
a
we love
lot.
to camp.
Mm-hmm.
We love to also do a lot of like the snowboarding now that we picked up together.
Yeah, snowboarding was fun.
Yeah, snowboarding was so fun learning together with you.
Yeah, because we both didn't know anything about
yeah.
snowboarding.
Like I can't stress enough how good of a team that we are together, and like it shows up a lot in our
In
relationship.
different ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will always like face issues. We always face
Flexible. We are flexible.
Yeah, super flexible.
Adaptable.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's the word.
How did we forget that word? We always say that too.
No, okay. You know
we
why?
Are very adaptable.
Should we talk about the story?
What story?
So, one of the times that we realized that we're really, really adaptable.
Camping.
Yes. So, was that our first camping trip
It
together?
was our first camping.
So our first camping trip, I'm gonna roast you a little bit. So
yeah,
our first
no, feel
camping
free to, I
trip,
deserve it.
we went to Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon. So Brad has a Tesla, as you know, so predictably has
so
a Tesla.
Bay Area tech kind of worker.
And so Teslas are an electric car, obviously, and we were going to use his car because I have a leased car, so like I only have a certain amount. Wait, no, sorry.
No, you didn't
I had
have
a little
that
car.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a very
car.
little car with a
Yeah,
tiny
that-
little engine, and so I was like,
Yeah,
I don't
that
really know.
Toyota Yaris.
I don't really know if like this is a car that I could take camping like in the mountains. And so we were just going to take your car, and like my one request of you was to check to see if there were chargers in the area. And he told me that there were. And so I was like, great. So we packed up the car.
There were
Sequoia's like 4 or 5 hours away. And it's not easy to get to. It's not like, okay, what's a Pinnacles, for example? Pinnacles is like a national park where it's like
very up in the
you
mountain.
kind of get there and like you're there. You don't have to drive around. But Sequoia and Kings Canyon, they are 2 separate national parks, so you do have to drive a bit to get to one park to another. So we get there and I'm like, bro, the charger that you saw wasn't a supercharger. It was like one of those chargers that takes like all night.
Yeah.
And
there's only one.
There was only one.
One up there in the mountain, and I can continue this story. So like yeah, I was tasked to find if we were able to charge in between it all. And my perspective of like how far apart these chargers are were like yeah. I didn't really think about it too hard, honestly, because like
And the charger was an hour away.
Yeah, I didn't think about like the amount of things that we're bringing, and how high I'm driving up. So yeah. So like a lot of factors played a role where like I'm not gonna have enough charge for like a whole lot of things. So like realistically, when we got there, by the time we got to our camping spot, I was like very low charge. I have enough charge just to go to the next charging area, and that's away from the national park, and that's going back into the city. So that next morning, we made a
really hard decision.
and called it like, hey, let's just get a rental.
Mm-hmm.
So we left our camping spot things at the spot, and we drove down to get we drove down to charge. We drove to a rental area. We just left my car at the rental spot.
So we rented from Fresno Airport because that's the closest city. And when you rent from an airport, there's like,
parking.
There's parking. So we just like left the car there and we rented a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Which, kind of sucked because we wasted the entire day because like Fresno's not close. Like it's like at least like a few hours. And so we drove back with our new car and then we just enjoyed the rest of the camping trip. But like it was frustrating, but like for us to like figure out what to do, considering that like there was only so much
that you can do.
There was only so much that we could do. Like it was already done. Like we were already there with the Tesla and we had to like figure something out. Like every time we run into something like that, we're able to like keep our head on our shoulders and like try to figure something out.
like we understand what's the most important to us like in those moments. For me, what I would say is during that time, this is our first camping trip. Let's make this the best as we can. What are we willing to do? Like what kind of boundaries are we okay with? And with the limited option, we just like, okay, to make the most important thing, we do have to sacrifice ourselves to do all this.
Yeah, we do have to sacrifice those like few hours because like what else are we gonna do?
Spend extra money
you know?
to do so, and being okay with the mistakes that I have done.
I've made mistakes too.
Yeah, no, 100%. We all
Yeah.
make mistakes, but then
Yeah.
like we
But,
don't
like-
we
like-
never look at each other. And
Yeah,
we're like, oh my god,
and like hold it against you.
bad,
Yeah,
bad person. Yeah, like no, we're like okay,
it's like okay, like what do we do now?
yeah, what
like
do we do
how
now?
can we?
How can we resolve this? Like, okay, do you understand this is an issue? I understand it's an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, you do.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about this later. Let's handle the situation now. Handle the
Mhm.
situation, and we make space for it later on too.
Yeah.
And it's very comforting knowing that like we're not like attacking each other at all. Like,
No.
oh my god, you're so stupid. Like, why do you do this? Instead of like attacking each other during that moment, we're like remedying. Like, you're making no progress.
It's
if
not
I'm,
exactly.
yeah.
It's not productive.
Yeah, it's
at
not,
all.
not productive, dude. Like, if I'm gonna yell at you, like how, like, oh my god, you're so fucking wrong. Why the fuck you did
Yeah.
this? We could have been doing this. We could have been doing there. Like, dude, that's like 3 minutes of like of us wasting time being unproductive, where we could have spent 3 minutes of literally
Trying to figure out.
figuring this
Yeah.
shit out, man.
Should we talk about then like how do we handle conflict and stuff? Because I think like something that I'm proud of is how we communicate.
Yeah.
Something that I learned about you really early on is that you're such an understanding person.
Oh, thank you. You as well.
I try to be.
Yeah, no.
Like if I could describe anything that I felt towards you, especially in the beginning, is like safe. Like you just make me feel really safe.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so like I never felt like I had to like I could always tell you how I was feeling, and you were always on the receiving end. You were always like very like gracious, like thank you so much for telling me, you know, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Like I can tell that was really hard. You just make so much safety that makes it easy for me to tell you things. That's never a fear of mine, that I'm gonna like
Yeah.
I'm gonna like upset you with how I feel.
Give me a wow right now. But dude, like, okay, I can talk about how much that makes me feel good inside. Well, I mean, well, thank you, by the way. I don't know, kind of lost the words for a bit, but yeah.
I told you this.
No, I know,
before.
but it still feels nice to hear it, you know. And I feel the same way with you. Like, I feel very comfortable enough to express, like, you know, like the mistakes I've made. I feel very comfortable in like being able to express whatever situation comes by. I mean, we've been in a lot of situations where, like, let's just say, remember that one time we were at Lake
Comanche?
Comanche for the first time, where I got you, where we're using your paddleboard for the first time there. Yeah, remember I got my car stuck there with the rock.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So context. So we went to this lake that I grew up going to, and we brought his Tesla. This is a recurring theme, actually. We just shouldn't take your car to like outdoorsy
that
things.
was like the last time we ever did, actually.
We got stuck. So like he backed into,
I backed into a rock, and my
and the rock was
it was
like
really raised up, and I was like, it was on my my side skirt of my vehicle, and it really dug into there, and basically
his car was stuck. Like his tires were up in the air.
yeah. So basically, I was trying to get some help, so I asked like a bunch of people that were like super drunk, like, hey, can you guys help us out? And they wanted to do it one way where like it's gonna be damaging to my car.
They basically wanted to pull it from where the tires were like up in the air. They wanted to pull it out, but then that would like literally scratch the entire bottom
so
of
in
the
the
car.
direction where they would want to pull my vehicle would have caused like my whole entire battery to be like super damaged at this point, and I wasn't willing to like pay for all that. And they were being very aggressive and like wanting to do it their way because they believed it was the right way. Oh my god,
And he was just like, I don't want to do it that way. And then they're
and,
just
like-
like, they're just like, fine, then we're not gonna help.
yeah, dude, they're being very aggressive.
It was so
like,
annoying. It was like,
we were trying to
we'll help you, but only on our terms.
only terms where like we were able to see this amount of destruction, and I wasn't down for it at all. And dude, they're like being
It really upset you.
yeah, I was
so
really upset because background. I'm a mechanic too. I have a degree in automotive and blah blah blah. And like these guys were like throwing up like excuses, like we know better because I am a mechanic. And like their partners were like, their girlfriends was like, he knows cars more than anybody. He works on it every day, so he knows what's best for the vehicle. I kept quiet about myself. I didn't want to be like, me too.
I genuinely, like, I don't know how he did it. If it was
Yeah.
me, I would have been like, shut. Okay.
Because like, okay, I could have easily said like, hey, I'm a mechanic too, and if you are a mechanic, you know how bad this shit is, kind of thing. But what was I gonna get out of it? honestly. Like if I were gonna like put my chest out and be like, hey, I am a mechanic too, that would not solve anything. I would rather listen to that other guy who was nice enough to help us out, who
Yeah, who
tows
towed the
cars
car,
for a
yeah.
living. I can work on cars all day. I know how to work on cars, but do I know how to properly tow this vehicle out with the limited supplies that I have? No.
But
Sorry.
okay, so what happened after? What's the point of the story?
Um. Um. Yeah. What? I forgot.
You were talking about feelings.
Oh no. It was through that whole situation where we looked at each other and like we were both following each other's lead. What I'm trying to say. We were being good teamwork where we were not trying to like be the more aggressive type in that situation.
Yeah.
We weren't trying to like pick fights or anybody, but like we were holding each other's ground. We were getting each other's back.
Yeah. I was getting really activated by the whole thing, and you know me.
Yeah.
I would have gone off, but I think it was your thing, so I was trying to follow your lead. You know, you were trying to be the bigger person, you were trying to like stay calm, and I was like, okay, like if I blow up here, that's gonna make things so much worse.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna stress you out. You're gonna have to like deal with me now on top of dealing with all these other people.
Yeah. So like I
Yeah.
like moments like that where like I was looking at you like where you're at, and then you look calm. You looked at me, and then we just looked at
We
each
just
other.
it was just like a
okay.
feedback loop, like
Yeah.
a positive. We were just like calming each other down.
Yeah.
It felt small, but I guess like it
Like,
felt
yeah. Like the teamwork around that.
Yeah.
Like it happens in the most smallest areas and the most biggest areas.
I am curious if I can ask you a question, because I have an answer for this question, but like, what is something that I helped you heal from? Because I have something that you helped me heal from.
Oh wow, that's a really good one. Dude, everything from my past. You helped me heal from like what I assume what a relationship is. Not trying to like put down my past relationship, but like I believe my ex and I can agree that we were definitely both being toxic with each other because we both had like a our own self of pride or ego in that relationship would cause us to like have such toxic environment. And during those times, that was my views of like what it means to be a relationship, or like
It was that's just how
Yeah.
relationships are.
yeah, and like how like the bar was like so low when it came to like how thankful I was for like even the smallest things that you're able
Yeah,
to
like,
do for me.
okay, literally, sometimes I would like plug in your phone, or I would like get you water, and you're like, that's so nice. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I still to this day I still think it's very nice. My view of what it means to be in a relationship was changing every moment being with you, and I thank you so much for being so patient with me, because like I had a lot of insecurities in myself that I didn't realize I had until I was getting into the relationship. I thought I was I thought like just being on my own I was able to heal like these moments, but I never thought like it made a lot more sense. Like I was only able to heal when I'm with somebody in
Yeah.
this relationship, because it takes two to heal when it comes to like
Like
anything.
reparative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Oh, he's
And-
so well spoken. He must be the husband of a therapist.
Oh, I might be, huh?
Yeah.
Learn
No,
very
'cause, like,
well.
no, that's so true though. You can do as much healing as you can, but like there are only things that are gonna come up when you're in a relationship with someone.
Yeah, you gave me so much space and so much time to grow within that, and I thank you so much, because just not just talking about it, I'm just realizing how much growth it has been since then, and the amount of like trust I have for you, the amount of comfort I have for you, and like just where my mental health is at right now is so much different. I'm like able to like sleep so soundly at night and go about my day without like having like a thought in the world where
Your skin has cleared.
oh I know
Yeah. He used to get really bad
acne.
acne breakouts.
Not
'Cause of stress.
Yeah, stress. It's been lovely.
Yeah.
It's been a lovely journey knowing what it means to be in a healthy relationship.
Partnership. Well, for me, something that was like I had to learn was that I could be accepted, like without having to change anything. I think something that surprised me was how, I guess, accepting you were. Like things that, maybe I felt embarrassed about. I don't know. I just felt like to be in a relationship meant to like lose parts of yourself, if that makes sense. I'm a huge fangirl, right? I am a huge fangirl, and it's not that I'm ashamed of that part of myself, but like I I don't really share that with a lot of people because it's like it's a lot. I'm
Really not.
just really passionate. Like I'm passionate about the things that I'm passionate about, and that's a lot. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I've always toned that down. I've also been like I've struggled with like body image stuff, mental health stuff, and I like don't like talking about that very much, but you've always been so like just accepting of things that like I otherwise would have been ashamed about or I don't like talking about.
Yeah.
I think I've learned how to be like my full authentic self with you, and I don't think I've ever gotten to do that ever. And so I'm a very introverted person. I cannot be around someone for too long before I like my battery goes out.
Dude, same, man.
Yeah.
Dude, like,
But like you, like I always think about you just like being like an extension of me. And so when we're together, it doesn't feel like I'm socializing.
yeah, dude. Oh my god, I can't stress enough like how much you make me feel that way because I also like have like a very low
Social battery.
social battery. Like let's just say like if I'm hanging out with somebody for X amount of time, dude, like I'll like there's gonna be a point where like I'm just gonna like just sign off and like have like no emotional attachment to like whatever conversation.
Yeah, you're just gonna stop being. You're gonna like
Yeah.
log off.
Yeah,
You're gonna
I'm
go
like-
offline.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be present at all, and like in this sense, and like that's the time where like I gotta go home. And with you, I have never till this
I've
day
never felt that.
Yeah, dude, like it just felt like I was hanging out with myself.
Actually,
like
though.
man, like hey, I need like
like you just talk out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, you think out loud.
I do.
And I think I think out loud too.
You do.
And then we just respond to our
We just respond to our thought. But like majority of the time we're in the same wavelength. We're like, are you tired? Like hell yeah.
It's like, dude,
want
yeah.
to take a nap? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you trying
Do
to go home right now? Like hell yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to skip today?
Yeah. Like you.
It's like
You want to stay
something that we say a
home?
lot is like, hey, so like
Hear me
I'm
out.
down. Like hear me out.
Hear me out.
I'm down, but I'm also down to stay home.
Like, bet. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Come, baby, come. Come, baby, come, baby, come.
Stop being weird.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Stop being weird.
But yeah.
You edit that out.
Yes. I wasn't gonna keep it.
Oh, never mind. We can cut that shit out. But yeah.
No.
Give me-
Okay.
Give me a dirty kiss, baby.
No.
From the camera.
No. Okay, rapid fire time.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna ask us 2 questions.
Fire away.
What is one thing out of the many things? What is one thing that you really like that we bond over?
Fuck, that's hard. Okay. I don't know. There's a lot of things actually.
There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things. I love how we were like I love how we bond over like snowboarding as a sport. I love that we bond over free time. I love that we bond over anime together. I love that we bond over how the amount of free time that we want to spend with each other.
What do you mean?
Like, oh my god, I can't wait for this weekend so we can spend time with each other.
Oh
Kinda
yeah.
thing. Like, oh my
'Cause
god,
we
I
just
can't
wanna.
wait to we can't hang out. They can't wait till we hang out and do things together, kind of thing. You.
Okay. I love how we bond over outdoorsy stuff. Like
Given.
camping. Camping is so much fun. And snowboarding. I'm just going to be like vague so I can like encapsulate a lot of things. So like camping, snowboarding, van life eventually, you know, just like being outside, things like that. I really like how we bond over that. And I really like how we bond over food. Okay. Since this relationship,
We're not much of a foodie people, but we just love eating.
I know we're not really foodies, but we love to eat.
Yeah, we love to eat.
We love to eat. Like we eat so much.
I do like I don't like cooking a lot, but like I find that I love being able to make my favorite food into vegetarian options.
Yeah, vegetarian
Super
ice.
cool. I love Filipino sisig so much. A lot of my friends know that.
Oh, can you
too.
make that this week?
I actually am. I added
Oh,
I added it onto our grocery list.
It's one of my favorite things.
Oh
that
my
he
god,
makes.
dude! Like
He
one
makes
thing,
a tofu sisig.
dude. One thing I also like found out about this relationship is how organized Karina is, and how organized my life is right now. So like we have like this notes thing, and like oh my god, it's so cool. If you guys have an iPhone and you guys use notes, being able to maximum the usage of notes in a relationship is God.
Yeah,
save me, dude.
honestly.
Like,
So we have this joint note.
yes.
It's literally just called grocery list.
Yes.
And we plan our meals. So like we have a little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
7
Saturday,
days out of the
Sunday.
week, and then we got like meal ideas for next week.
Yeah, so then we list our meals and then we make our grocery list from those
Yeah,
meals. And
so,
we
like-
both add to it since we're both on, like we
Yeah.
collaborate on it.
Yeah, we both collaborated on it.
But okay, one more question. Why don't we each take our turn describing like a typical day? Because we have a lot of typical days, right? But you can
Mhm.
you can describe one, and I'll describe one.
Okay, and typical day. Well, let's choose our busiest day out of the week. And
'Kay.
let's be Tuesday. Diligently, like I would like to say, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
He does not.
I did to go gym.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, I wake up in the morning. I get ready for work. Basically, shower, prepare my lunch, and all that. Normally I would walk Quincy, but you have taken a role for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I, say my goodbyes, skedaddle straight to work.
Yeah, he always leaves to work, and I'm still in bed.
Yeah, in bed. So skedaddling my way to work, working with another 9 hours of my day. Leaving work, heading to Muay Thai practice, and then I'm heading right on home to prepare dinner because on Tuesdays, which the day I'm describing right now, you are in your group supervision.
Mm-hmm. I have a group consultation group that I meet with for 2 hours every Tuesday.
Yes, and it coincides to where it starts right after you're done with work, so you don't really have time to make dinner.
Yeah, I don't.
And by the time I get home, it's like 7:30, preparing dinner for both of us, and by then, I am sitting down having a One Piece watch party, with the boys and Kylie.
Okay, so maybe I can describe a weekend, just like a typical weekend. So usually, let's say in the morning, we get to sleep in a little bit. I always sleep in more than he does. Even if he gets to sleep in, he wakes up pretty early.
Yeah, my sleeping in is like me getting out of bed at 7
Yeah.
p.m.
So then he usually wakes up and walks Quincy. And then by the time that he gets back, I'm usually awake. And then sometimes we go to brunch.
Yeah, sometimes we go to brunch.
Sometimes we go to brunch. Sometimes I go to a workout class.
Yeah, you go to workout
Yeah.
class.
And then we go to brunch.
Then we go to brunch.
And then, sometimes we'll go out to we like going to bookstores together. So sometimes we'll go to a bookstore.
Hell yeah.
Or we'll go walk around somewhere Santana
Enjoy the
Row
morning,
or something.
yeah.
Enjoy the day.
Yeah, even at Campbell downtown.
Take a walk to
the farmer's market.
to the farmer's
Buy
market.
some honey.
And then we'll come home and we'll probably rot for a few hours.
What we like to call
vegging. Yeah. Sometimes we hang out with the house. Sometimes we watch a movie or something
Hell
with
yeah.
Belle and Leslie. And then I make dinner. And then, and then we're probably in bed by 10 p.m.
Dude, we've been in bed lately around 9 p.m., 10
I know,
p.m.
because we've been sick.
Yeah.
We've been so sick.
It's been lovely, honestly. I'm missing the outdoorsy for a bit, but
Yeah.
the rest has been wonderful. Just being able to wake up and feeling very well rested, and knowing that I'm gonna get some more rest later on today.
I know. I'm excited for just the fall weather because it's finally getting cooler and we can finally go on hikes again.
I know. So I love that we have our seasonal activities.
Mm-hmm.
So during the fall, I know we try to hike as much. During the winter, we're snowboarding a lot. During spring is where
We're still
rest.
snowboarding, I think.
In spring.
Yeah.
Oh.
Until April.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, actually.
But then we do try
Yeah.
to rest.
Yeah, we
Fall
try to
and
rest.
spring we try to rest because in the
Yeah.
summer we go camping. a
Yeah,
lot.
summer we go a whole summer and winter is very filled with camping.
Wait, fall
and-
we actually go on a trip usually. Last year we went to Japan
Oh
and
my
then this year we're
God,
going to
yeah,
Thailand.
yeah.
Okay. To close things out, what is something that you are excited for?
I'm
the
looking
future.
forward to us living in Japan a lot. I feel like I'm about to live a long time fantasy that I had for more than half my life, to be honest. I've been infatuated with Japanese culture since I was very young. Very young. There's a lot of things to be excited before and after that, but to live another lifelong dream that I get to experience together with you is something I am really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, next is definitely the van life.
That's what my answer is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for van life. While we're living abroad, we are hoping to save some money because it's so much cheaper to live abroad than it is anywhere else in the U.S., especially California. But we're hoping to save up some money so that we can buy a van and, just travel around the U.S. for a year. I'm so excited for that because,
Yes.
honestly, traveling the U.S. is expensive. Having to fly and find hotels and stuff.
And you never feel enough time when you're actually traveling because you're always in one thing I don't like about being on vacation is you only have a small portion
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
window where you can travel and you're kind of just forced to constantly spend all the energy in the world
Yeah,
to
like
just
filling up your
filling
entire
your
itinerary.
day just to make the most of it because end of the day, dude, you're spending thousands of dollars trying to like, make the best out of this
Slow
trip.
travel. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Is we're trying to slow travel.
Yes.
Like really experience a place.
Yeah.
And it feels like a full circle because like, our first date we talked about van life and we're finally gonna do it.
And living abroad.
Yeah.
We did talk about that too. So very much
so
full circle.
we have a lot of things
Like-
to look forward to. But thank you.
No,
thank
thank
you
you.
for being so great. What are we
Oh.
But thank you so much, my love, for taking the time.
Of course.
He was so nervous about today.
I'll say yes, I was.
Yeah, but you did so great. And all the other times that you stuttered, I'm just going to edit it out.
I stutter a lot.
No.
I did,
you
huh?
didn't.
Sorry.
But that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and watching if you're still there. This has been Ordinary Love. We'll have new episodes every other Tuesday. I am Karina again, and you can follow us. Oh, you want to?
Oh, I want to be part of it too.
I am Karina.
And I'm Bradley.
And he's not a co-host, but he wants to pretend that he is. And you can follow or watch on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram at Ordinary Love Podcast anywhere. And you can listen to these episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me over, my love. Everyone, if you guys would like to have me back in here, vote for me.
Oh, no, stop.
Vote for me
no,
back
no,
here.
No, okay. Okay, and that's a wrap.